Hello, artists. This week, we're going to talk about foreground, middle ground, and background. We're going to be talking about the idea of deep space in art. Deep space doesn't really mean in outer space like the picture on your screen right now. It actually means how to create depth in your art. So we're trying to create something that looks 3D on a 2D surface. When we're creating depth, we need to show a background, which is things that are far away, a middle ground, which is things that are more in the middle of your picture, and then a foreground, which are things that are in the front of your picture. So those things would be closest to you. Sometimes we say it's closest to the viewer. That's like the person who's looking at your art. Let's think about some of the ways that we can show deep space in art. So look at this picture and think about some of the drawing tools that this artist used to show things that are in the background, middle ground, and foreground. Pause this video for a minute and think of some ideas. Hopefully you paused and thought of some of these same things I'm going to be talking to you about. Some of the ways that we show deep space are using size. Things that are big are closer to us, and things that are small are farther away. For example, there are some sailboats in the background. We know those are in the background because if you look over here, this man is much bigger than that sailboat. So we know in real life, a sailboat is bigger than a man. So if it looks small on our art, it must be farther away. Another way that we show deep space in art is with overlapping. If you take a look at this woman and man that are in the foreground of the painting, the woman is overlapping the man. That means that we can see all of her body, but we know that she's standing in front of the man because we cannot see all of his body. Some of his body is hidden behind her. The last way that we can show deep space in art is position. Position means where something is placed on the page. So if something is placed high up on the page, usually that item is farther away and in the background. When things are closer to the bottom of the art, that usually means that they are in the foreground of your art. So if you take a look at these blue arrows, you can see I pointed out some things to remember. Things that are small and high up on the paper are in the background, and things that are big and low down on the paper are in the foreground. There's another part of deep space. There's this artist trick called foreshortening. Foreshortening is like an extreme perspective or point of view, which kind of tricks your eye, kind of like an optical illusion. So these three images are examples of foreshortening, where one part of the drawing or photograph is much larger than you would typically think it would be, to show that it's much closer than the other parts of the drawing. So if you look at this drawing with this boy holding the ball is in the front of the picture because it is so big. This is like a forced point of view or forced perspective, we call it sometimes. We're going to be creating a drawing using foreshortening this week. So there are some directions here. I'm going to skip to this slide. I have a link to a video for some how to draw directions. These are some finished examples of a falling for foreshortening drawing. And you can see that you're going to trace your hands and feet. Like I was saying, here are some examples of finished projects, and you're going to be tracing your hands and feet and then adding in a body. This can get a little bit tricky, so please reach out if you have some questions about how to do this, or we can talk about it at our next meeting, which is on December 16th. So good luck creating. I can't wait to see all the awesome ideas that you come up with your foreshortening drawing projects.